Greetings, everybody. This is Leviathan, and I am bringing you, a little late, unfortunately, the latest and greatest updates coming to you from the patch 2.6.1 PTR. This past Wednesday was when the latest update got applied, and normally, of course, it happens on Tuesdays, but I guess this past week they were a little delayed, so we have an update for you with a few interesting things here and there, especially depending on which class you're interested in. So I'll go ahead and speed through the latest changes to get you up to date. Again, we have this notice on support for Vista and Windows XP will be ending at some point during PTR. So I guess that's something, if you haven't upgraded your operating system, you should probably get on that, because you might not be able to test things on PTR soon. In any case, we got some Witch Doctor passive updates, Creeping Death, increase the duration of Haunt, Locust Swarm, and the damage amplification of Piranhas when this passive is active from 3600 to 14,400 seconds. So that's huge. That's a big times 4 upgrade. Should definitely be nice, especially for those playing Jade. And there's a note here that currently a bug is preventing this passive from affecting Piranhas. This will be fixed in an upcoming PTR patch. So just in case you're trying to do some PTR testing on Witch Doctors, keep that in mind. Here for the Arcane Orb Frozen Orb rune, they increase projectile travel distance from 30 to 45. I know there are some things going on with this where people are using the wizard with DMO and it's been performing nicely, but they're forcing the explosion of Arcane Orb Frozen Orb like against walls and stuff, so that's something that we should probably look into, because we don't want the ET meta to return again with characters just staring at walls all day. So I don't know if this is supposed to help with that or not, but hopefully it's going to be a thing that doesn't come to fruition. We'll have to keep our eye on the wizard. A couple of changes and bug fixes. PTR only fixed an issue with Battle Rage Bloodshed where the damage from critical hits was not being scaled by the proc coefficient of the power doing damage. So I think this is actually a little bit of a decrease in power for this, because there might have been some Barbarian interactions that were benefiting from this proc coefficient not being applied. So definitely retest some of your Barb stuff if you've been testing, because it might not be as good as you once remembered it. And a couple of other issues. Fix an issue where the advanced tooltip for bone armor dislocation did not correctly state the rune did poison damage. Fix an issue where Furious Charge would inherit the elemental damage type on your weapon when Vile Ward was equipped, as opposed to the damage type of the rune you chose. That's so random. I honestly wonder how they find some of these bugs, but it's good they find them and fix them. That's just so random. Anyways, some Barbarian stuff. This is kind of crazy. So Band of Might for Barbs is actually getting an increase in its damage reduction. After casting Furious Charge, Ground Stomp, or Leap, instead of 50 to 60%, you have 60 to 80% reduced damage for 8 seconds. So support Barbs definitely feeling a little bit hardier. And also in general, if you use the Band of Might, I know a lot of like Might of the Earth Barbs do and stuff, so this is just more damage reduction. 60 to 80% off of one item is huge. I would like to see that come to actually some of the other classes, maybe, please. As promised, some updates for Hammer of the Ancients. Bracers of the First Man, Hammer of the Ancients attack 50% faster and deal 400 to 500% increased damage. So that number's going up. That should be nice for any Barb trying to get some Hoda stuff going. And then Gavel of Judgment also received a little update on its multiplier. It now has the legendary power of the damage of Hammer of the Ancients is increased by 600 to 800%, and it returns 25 fury if it hits 3 or fewer enemies. So that's a nice boost as well. Between that and the bracers that we just mentioned, you should see quite a bit of increase in damage. I think right now in PTR, there are a couple of Barbs that have been able to push this like over Greater Rift 100 and whatnot. So, looking good. Hodo is one of my favorite ways to play the Barb, so I'm very excited for this, if I ever go back to Barb as a main. Let's see here. We have the legendary power on this item is not... Oh, okay, so they just fixed a bug. That's good. I think that was in relation to the Gavel of Judgment. Fate of the Fell for Crusaders here. It got a little bit of a boost for its multiplier. Heaven's Fury gains 2 additional raids and has its damage increased by 375 to 500%. This is good to see, just because this one still didn't feel all that great, even when you were on just T13 as a Crusader, trying to do some rifts. Holy Shotgun used to be a very favored and fun build for many others in the day. So this might bring it back into a little bit more relevance. I guess we'll have to see. I know some people, I think, are working on this project and were able to do like Greater Rift 100 with it, so pretty nice. I think you're still going to see Blessed Shield and Condemn and stuff be the things that you want more in your Recon setups. But again, we shall see. Golden Flens, stuff for the Roland setup. A little bit of love for Sweep Attack here. Sweep Attack restores 6 Wrath for each enemy hit and has its damage increased by 225 to 300%. So this is one now where you can actually cube Golden Flints if you want, because the multiplier is going to be in the legendary power now. Interesting thought here. So who knows? This will definitely, along with the change to the denial from earlier in PTR, bring the sweep Roland stuff back up. I think people had already been doing like GR 100 plus with it, so I don't know. We'll see. Roland's not my favorite by far, so I won't be the one to test it, but someone will. Looking for more changes here. Anything in red is going to be a change. Obviously, as the PTR grows, we have more and more changes. So these patch notes just get longer and longer. There was a bug on Shortman's Finger, but it looks like they fixed that, so it's working properly now. Wizards, Halo of Karini. You take 60 to 80% less damage for 4 seconds after your storm armor electrocutes an enemy more than 15 yards away. So this is just pure buff all around. Bigger damage reduction for longer with less of a radius to activate it. So very nice stuff here. I would say that that's good. I don't know if this will make it still see use, but that sounds pretty strong. We'll have to see what Wizards do with that. And then now we're back into the set updates for Crusaders. There was an issue with the Thorns of the Invoker 2-piece, but it looks like they fixed that, so you can go into testing Invoker again if you so choose. For Demon Hunters, this was something that was going on with a mixing of Marauders and Gnats. People were finding a lot of damage coming out of that mix, so they went and nerfed that setup. So now on the 4-piece set, Sentries deal down from 400%, 100% increased damage and cast Elemental Arrow, Chakram, Impale, Multi-Shot, and Cluster Arrow when you do. And then to accommodate this, the 6-piece set bonus was increased. So your primary skills, Elemental Arrow, Chakram, Impale, Multi-Shot, Cluster Arrow, Companions, and Vengeance deal 2400% increased damage for every active sentry. So they're basically just making it, they want you to use the M6, not M4, N6, or some sort of combination thereof. They just want you in your Marauder set fully if you want to do sentry stuff. So it makes sense. Good change, in my opinion. Shenlong's got a bit of a buff. Raiment, of course, used to be, I guess currently on live, is, you know, the best way to clear greater rifts, the highest greater rifts for monks. And then everything got changed on PTR for monks, and Raiment was kind of left behind, but it looks like Shenlong's now maybe bringing it back into a little bit of relevancy. Damage of your spirit generators is increased by 2% for each point of spirit that you have, and then when you reach max spirit, all damage is increased by 200%, but you no longer passively regenerate spirit, and 65 spirit is drained every second until you run out of spirit. So pretty much staying the same, but increases in the damage output. Very nice. A little change to the damage reduction here on the Pestilence set for Necros. Each enemy you hit with Bone Spear, Corpse Lance, or Corpse Explosion reduces your damage taken by 2% up to a max of 50%, and this lasts for 15 seconds. So Corpse Lance and Corpse Explosion will now also activate that damage reduction for you. So you might not even need to have Bone Spear at all. Kind of moving away from that for the Pestilence set. Very intriguing. There was an issue here with the 6-piece set on Helltooth, but that's been resolved, so now you can go back to fully testing your Helltooth stuff out. Very nice. And then Raiment of the Jade Harvester. This is a change that a lot of people were looking forward to. You get a little bit of damage reduction. Soul Harvest reduces damage taken by 50% for 12 seconds and consumes your damage over time effects on enemies, instantly dealing 1200 seconds worth of remaining damage. So now that this is in here, Jade Docs are hardier than they used to be, doing increased damage, and a lot of people are taking advantage of this. I think the highest we've seen now on PTR has been like a greater of 110 or something for Jade, so it's real. The changes are good, so maybe Jade might even be the best way for Witch Doctors to clear their greater rifts now, which is kind of interesting because you still do have Lawn's Spirit Barrage, but maybe Lawn is just out the window with this patch. We'll have to see. That is definitely a concern I've been seeing in the community. Veers received another update, 6-piece set bonus. You also gain Archon stacks when you hit with an Archon ability. Archon stacks now also reduce damage taken by 0.15% and have their damage bonus increased to 25%. Wow, so they just keep bumping this up. They really want to make this 6-piece good. So I guess, you know, keep trying Veers and hopefully it gets to a point where it's solid. It's competing against a lot of other really good stuff right now. So I guess that makes sense as far as Wizard goes, that, you know, Veers is going to take a lot before it starts to be competitive. And then Chantotos, which would probably be used with your Veers setup, also got some buffs as well. 2-piece set bonus, every second while in Archon form you expel a wave of destruction, dealing now 1000% weapon damage to enemies within 30 yards. So they just made that wave of destruction even better. And of course you boost up the damage on it with that second part of the 2-piece. Chantoto's bonus, let's keep looking for changes. We got a couple of PTR fixes specific to just testing right now. So fix an issue where the legacy version of the legendary power on Dainty's binding did not upgrade to the new version of this item power in Kanai's cube. Fix an issue where you could equip the legacy and new version of the legendary power on Gavel of Judgment at the same time. That would have been crazy. Barbs would have loved that. Fixed an issue where every rune except for Shattering Throw was not benefiting from the increased damage from Akan's leniency. That's interesting. I know that there is a fire version for Legacy of Nightmares, so maybe that was affected by this, but otherwise I think pretty much everyone was using the Holy Shattering Throw. So it's still interesting. Maybe I'll have to go back to the boards on testing for that a little. Fixed an issue where Lashing Tail Kick cast by Mimics spawned by Rabid Strike were not having their damage increased by Scarbringers, so there'll be a little bit more DPS there. Fixed an issue where the new version of Fate's Vow was not displaying the correct visuals per rune selected with Army of the Dead. Fixed an issue where Fate's Vow was not providing the maximum bonus to Army of the Dead when used in Kanai's cube. And last but not least, fix an issue where it was possible to reach 0 HP and live when using Haunted Visions in Simulacrum. That's kind of funny. I guess good that they fixed that. And then last but not least, I think I just said last but not least, but this is truly last but not least, we got a couple of Adventure Mode Rift changes. They increased the amount of experience and Rift progression granted by Blazing Constructs, and also the same for Smoldering Constructs. So some of the most egregious mobs that people have been complaining about for ages, now we'll finally get more progress for fighting them, which is good. And a quick thing to tack on here is Don Vu, game designer for Diablo 3. He was recently on the Legion project. He started with Diablo 3, then he got moved over to Legion to help them out, and now it looks like he's back with us, which is awesome. He had a little update for us just on PTR stuff, so I want to read this real quick because it kind of ties into the next update. It says, "Hey guys, all of this discussion has been awesome. I want to chime in to let you know that we will not remove the IK Boulder Breaker from the set because we think it would disrupt current builds too much." This is based on some feedback that Barbs were giving. However, we will be looking to increase numbers on many sets across all the classes for the next PTR patch. So it looks like even more number crunching is coming in the next PTR patch, which is crazy because already it looks like we're getting, you know, solid buffs across the board from the last couple PTR patches, but apparently more is coming. We're running a lot of tests to ensure we get everything correct, so they are still TBD, but they are in the ballpark of what Procon suggested, and this I think is still in relation to Barb's stuff. Speaking of the next PTR patch, we will not be patching PTR next week. And that's in relation to like the Tuesday after Memorial Day, or Labor Day, sorry. So that's coming up, today's what, the 2nd of September when I'm recording this, so that would be the 5th of September that we will not get an update to PTR. However, he does say we are currently planning on releasing the next PTR patch the week of 9/11. Probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, so that would either be September 12th or September 13th. This time frame is, of course, subject to change. Feedback, discussion, and data has been extremely helpful this PTR cycle. We appreciate all the testing and encourage you all to continue doing so. The best thing you can do for us in the meantime is to keep on pushing greater rifts with all sorts of builds on PTR. Thanks again. So there you go, the latest and greatest updates from patch 2.6.1 on the PTR. Just want to make sure I keep continuing to bring you guys these updates so that as we get more of them, we're not having to like backtrack and cover stuff that I already missed. It's looking good. Like I said, everyone is kind of getting some boosts to all their sets, trying to bring every class into equality, it seems, with the Wizard and Necromancer, who were kind of far out ahead of everyone else. So, you know, continue to hop onto PTR. It looks like every weekend they're doing the increased legendary drop rate thing, so if you're looking to get some more gear, feel free to test on the weekends in particular, because you'll get a lot of stuff drop in that will assist your testing. There's still Dank Meme on the PTR to help you get those sets and pieces very quickly. And that's about it. So until next time, I'll see you guys. Keep on testing, and hopefully we'll have more good news, especially for Crusader. Peace.